I want to bring in Tom Mulcair now. He's CTV's political commentator and the former leader of the NDP. Tom, perfect timing. Great to see you this morning. Let's pick up.
Good to be with you, Marcia.
Let's pick up where Premier Ford left off there. He is, doubling down on the fact that this would be a last resort, but he needs to send the message loud and clear, and he's taking out ads on behalf of Ontario, to Americans that these tariffs are a no-go. Can Premier Ford do this? How does this look when the Prime Minister wants to have this unified approach? We've got Premier Ford coming out. What do you make of it all, and how effective the message is?
Well, I'll start with your very last question, Marcia. I think that Doug Ford's messages are quite effective. I think it's well placed, and he has every right to do so. He's the premier of an important province that does have deep connections in all sorts of industries, and indeed, with regard to energy, with the United States. So he's pleading his case mostly stateside, and he has every right to do that. At the same time, you'd have to be naive not to note that everything that he's doing now is related to what he intends to do, which is call an early election. He's made that clear. The people around him have made that clear. They're going early, and they're going early because they sense that the potential, and indeed likely, arrival of a Poilievre government might mean tough times for Ontario. So he wants to get ahead of that one. But to the simple question, he's taking a different approach, either from his sister province of Quebec has taken a much more conciliatory approach. Premier Legault got a chance to meet and talk with Donald Trump for 10 minutes in Paris last weekend, and he's very concerned. He's taking this very seriously. Quebec also, very much like Ontario, has deep connections, including with energy. So he's taking a different approach. He's been pushing Trudeau hard to come up with an approach that satisfies all the provinces. Now, with regard to Trudeau, there is one thing that came out at that meeting last night. Several premiers, I am told, on background, expressed their deep misgivings with Mr. Trudeau's shot against the election of Trump, and his talking about the fact that it would have been much better if Kamala Harris had won. Now, I happen to agree with that, but I'm a pundit. I'm an analyst. I'm a person who has opinions. But he's the Prime Minister of Canada, and he's got to deal with this Grinch called Donald Trump. And I thought it was singularly unwise for him to have done that. And it's very hard to find what the upside would have been for Trudeau to have gone that way. And a lot of premiers were indeed upset with him.
But to that last point, Tom, clearly that was planned. I mean, Trudeau knew what he was doing. And I was even thinking the other day, I don't know if you caught it, when he was talking about President-elect Trump, he referred to him as Donald. I think that was in Halifax. So there's sort of a loosening of the language there. What does that signal to you about perhaps a different approach from the Prime Minister in dealing with President-elect Trump?
Well, a lot of people criticize Trudeau's desire to get down to Mar-a-Lago so quickly. I think he did it well. Even though Trump essentially boasted about it on NBC over the weekend. He was on Meet the Press, and what did he say? He says, Trudeau was down here 15 seconds after I had tweeted about the tariffs, and he loves tariffs. What he was doing was boasting that he has power, he has authority, people obey him, they're at his beck and call. I think Trudeau did the right thing because they knew that about the mentality of Donald Trump. He's boastful, he's full of himself, he likes to say that he's in charge and he's the one making other people jump when he says so. Trudeau played that well. Using the first name, a little bit more of the same. But in that case, how do we explain that part of his speech? Now, you're quite right. He was reading from a prepared text. The only plausible explanation that's been given to me by somebody in the know, and it's something that I agree with, that Trudeau might decide not to stick around for the next election. He was teeing it up. If you look at all those sentences together, he was pleading for women in leadership roles in politics. Now, the only party in Ottawa, there's five parties in the House of Commons, the only one that's never had a woman leader is the Liberals. Trudeau defeated 4 women for the leadership the last time. So is he trying to set it up so that he could plead, for example, for either Melanie Joly or Chrystia Freeland to be his eventual replacement, if indeed he does step down? And I repeat, I sincerely believe that that's what he's planning to do. I don't see him sticking around, not with everything that's happening right now.
Interesting. Tom, thanks so much. Good to see you today. We're going to have to leave it there for today.